Krishna consciousness movement, which we are presenting, should not be misunderstood as an Indian movement or an Eastern movement or Western movement. It is actually a spiritual movement, a pure transcendental movement. Just like, for example, now the sun is over Miami, but the sun is not a Miami sun, and similarly when the sun goes over Japan, it is not a Japanese sun. The sun is always universal. So in the same way, wherever this Krishna consciousness may appear, either in India or in America or in South America or Canada or Europe, it is transcendental. Golokaya Prema Dhan Harinam Sankirtana. It is a transcendental movement coming from the spiritual platform. And there is great need of it at the present time in America. Last night I was invited to speak on one radio program. What is that program?
Alan Burke Show.
Yes. So I spoke, and also some other people spoke. They were simply presenting some useless idea of God. That is the actual situation at the present time. I hope you will excuse me, but I'm going to speak very bluntly. Because at the present time, not only in America, but also all around the world, people have completely forgotten what God actually is. And because people, despite what they call themselves, Christians or Hindus or Muslims or Jews or whatever they may call themselves, are in fact simply becoming materialistic, and they have no clear understanding of God, and they do not know what God's desire is or how to please God. And the practical result is that the present world is simply in chaos. It is in political chaos, psychological chaos, family is in chaos, social chaos. Everything is more or less chaotic, and we are simply struggling, trying to maintain our society. There is so much crime, there is inflation, people, neurosis is increasing, and also there is so much political trouble. We are in a very dangerous situation. At any moment, everything may be destroyed by a holocaust, political holocaust. So we are saying that these problems are caused by our forgetting God. For example, in the family, if the father is intelligent and the children obey him, then the family goes very nicely. But if the father is forgotten or not obeyed, then the family will become chaotic. It's a very simple thing. So in the same way, we are actually meant to follow the law of God. If we do not follow the law of God, despite how much money we may have in our bank account, despite what particular type of car we are driving, or what title we have after our name, or how beautiful we may be, or how strong or how famous, we are in fact criminals because we are not following the law of God. Anyone who does not follow the law, he's criminal. So there are other laws beyond the whimsical laws that our so-called legislators are making every day. Simply, we have so many legislators, many of them are drunkards or woman hunters or whatever they may be. Some of them may have a little sincerity, but none of them have very good brains, and they are simply making one law after the other, taking bribes, making politics, and the whole country is going to hell. So what we are trying to do, very frankly, in this Krishna consciousness movement, we are trying to train up a group of men and women who are purified and competent and qualified to give this country something which it has not had for a long time, and that is spiritual direction. Because I personally was shocked last night to see supposedly learned gentlemen on this radio program presenting themselves as religious and spiritual leaders and speaking such nonsense. For example, one point is that God is the controller. There's no use talking about God and then rejecting what God actually is. For example, God means He's the controller of everything. So, one gentleman telephoned in this program and wanted to know why the weather is becoming so crazy. For example, I believe yesterday there was some snow in Wyoming or someplace. So usually it doesn't snow in the spring. So he wanted to know why the weather is becoming so bad. So everyone's on this program, all the different members said, I don't know, we can't explain this. So I said, I know. We are being punished by God. Because actually if God is omnipotent, as our scriptures say, and it doesn't matter what religion we are, all of our scriptures say that God is all-powerful. So if God is all-powerful, He certainly has the power to change the weather. Therefore, if we are experiencing such difficult times, extreme cold, rain, and so on and so forth, this is punishment from God. And yet one of the people on this program was such a fool that although he's a so-called religious leader, he said, no, God doesn't control these things. So I insisted, no, He does, and we're being punished. And then he said, no, God is love. God would not punish. Another foolish idea. So I had to point out to him, doesn't the mother sometimes punish the child out of love? Is it that the mother only loves a child if she gives him whatever he likes? You want to play in the street? Yes, go play in the street. You want to eat only candy? Yes, only eat candy. Whatever you like, do that. This is my love. This is not love. This is foolishness. This is not love. Sometimes a mother may punish the child, and sometimes a mother may embrace the child. These are both love. So in this way, also I was presenting the point last night that God is a person. Because in all of our scriptures, it is explained that God is our Father. Even if we don't know anything else about God, at least that much, we should not argue about that point, that God is a Father. So do we have any experience in our practical life of a father who is not a person? Has anyone ever seen such a thing, or read about such a thing, or heard about such a thing? A father who is not a person? We say that we are realists. We want to be realistic. So realistically, have you ever seen a father who is not a person? So I explained to them the simple fact that God is a person. And yet these foolish people wanted to say publicly on the air that no, God is not a person. God has no individuality. He can only express His love through us. This world is the expression of God's love, therefore God expresses Himself through us. This is a very unintelligent idea. Why does God depend on us? Can God express Himself? Just like one may say, I'm speaking, God is expressing Himself through me and I'm speaking. But can God also speak? Is He so foolish? Is He so weak? Is He so unintelligent that He cannot speak personally? Therefore, in this way, because we are accepting so many compromising, watered down, wishy-washy, ambiguous ideas about God, practically there is no more spiritual life in this country. Of course, not only this country, but all around the world. But because we are in America, I'm specifically speaking now about America. So there is no more spiritual life in this country, practically. Simply hypocrisy and bluffing. All the different... anyway, these are the facts. So therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement has been started not to impose Indian culture upon the American people, but to give people real spiritual life.